just wanted to say good morning and thanks for joining us. As you know, Vegas Views is peace through constitutional truth. And as much as the Bible is a shield, the Constitution is a bigger one. And today we are here with Brian Nadell for CD3. I am so glad that you came in studio.
Well, thank you very much, Denise. It is an honor to be here, and it is surely an honor to speak to the group of people that I am speaking today. It is a true honor for me. Thank you.
Well, we have a great audience, and there you go. Okay. You want this a little closer? Okay.
Is this live?
Yes. So,
Okay.
Common Sense USA, that's what's on your hat. For
Yes,
the
it
people
is.
that can't see it, tell me about that.
Well, Common Sense USA
Mm-hmm.
is the name of my campaign.
Oh, okay.
And common sense, which, well, as we know now, is not
It's in
quite so
short
common.
supply.
Yes, it is. And that's why I'm here. I'm
Mm-hmm.
here to bring common sense back to Washington and bring common sense back to the people. One of the things that I wanted to talk today about is, well, it's going to be fun because we're going to talk about a lot of things. One, we're going to also talk
Got a big
about
list here.
what it's like to be in the political arena and the type of people and what we deal with. I want to let the people know what's going on. I am a professional poker player, and I have been for the last 32 years.
Well, I think that fits right in with Trump's agenda because, I mean, how many times have you heard him say, or people refer to him as the master of 5D chess, right?
Oh, correct, sure.
So, I mean, this is much of as a strategic moves and a gamesmanship as anything.
It is. Poker and politics, I'm finding, are so much alike.
Mm-hmm.
In poker, in the 32 years, and I have been one of the top poker players, and
I saw on
what
your website that you have won over $1 million playing poker.
I have, but more importantly, I have 11 final tables at the World Series. I
It's
have
impressive.
3 Maiden of Honors, second place finishes.
Wow.
I have never received a bracelet. And a bracelet, it was always so important to me lately because it's become a big thing in the poker world to
Mm-hmm.
have that bracelet. It's sort of the prestigiousness of it and the
Mm-hmm.
accomplishment
Mm-hmm.
of having that bracelet. But I have found that now that bracelet isn't important to me anymore. What's important to me is my country.
Yes.
What's important to me is what's going on in our country.
So you just saw the fraud and corruption, the abuse of power, and decided that you were going to put your, uh, you know, interests aside, and this is your way of serving our country.
It is. But see, when I say poker and politics were a lot alike,
Mm-hmm.
and people as they go to my website, and I
Yeah.
will give you all that information, it sort of explains it. One thing that I have acquired a talent, pretty much always had it, and that was reading people, understanding them.
And being a poker player, that's
Well,
just so key.
it is, and knowing how people's tendencies are. One
Mm-hmm.
thing about people is their tendencies always seem to be the same. They do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And in poker, when you see this in players, then you know what they're doing.
Is
The,
that what made you rise to the occasion and make term limits such a priority in your campaign?
well, term limits. Folks, we will never fix Washington.
All right.
I promise you they will not be fixed until we give them term limits.
Mm-hmm.
Term limits is something that we, the people, can achieve. The politicians don't want it. Some of them talk about it and then they get elected or not and then it goes away. They never discuss it again.
Right.
They don't want it. Washington doesn't want it because they want to stay there forever. So, when we make our issues, if it's abortions our issues, if it's our budget our issues,
Mm-hmm.
if it's the taxes our issues, or whatever our platforms are, we're not quite getting it. We'll fix those. But
Mm-hmm.
in order to fix them, we have to fix Washington first.
Yes, and
And
I mean term limits is such an important part of that because it's it's almost like you can never get the special interest money out of Washington unless term limits are part of it, and then that does control some of that. But then we're still on these party platforms. And honestly, some of the things that I'm seeing, particularly locally, sometimes nationally, is almost like the parties are just two wings on the same bird.
Well, there is a difference between the two parties,
Oh,
and
no doubt about it.
we will get into a few things. That's why I am for a third party. And I know that might sound, but we already have a party, the Republicans, which are on the right. We have a party, the Democrats, which are on the left.
Which are really the communists. They're definitely out running on the Marxist agenda.
They are worse than communists right now. They
Hmm.
have lost control. And we will get into this. I will explain in common sense, and we will come up with the answers.
Do you think that there should be a national party?
I think there should be a centrist party.
A centrist party? That's an
A centrist
interesting.
party, because a centrist is
Hmm.
something that I am more like. I am fiscally conservative, and I live
Yes.
my life fairly conservative.
Hmm.
But I also understand that we have over 300 million people in this country, and we're
Hmm.
all different. There's a lot of people that are alike, though, from both sides.
Hmm.
And that comes to a thing how we used to get along with each other.
Yes.
We, I was raised in California. There is no more liberal state.
Don't California or Nevada.
There you go. But California's changed. But
Oh, totally. Yes.
it has been pretty liberal most of all the years
Hmm.
that I've been there. And most of my friends were liberals. And we used to enjoy so many things together. We enjoyed going out to dinners. We enjoyed going out to sporting events. We enjoyed double dating with our wives or girlfriends. And we
Hmm.
enjoyed each other's company. And, we could actually even talk about politics. We might not agreed on all issues, but, when you get down to it, we do agree on a lot of things.
Well, and that's the whole problem I see. I mean, look at the classic liberal. In my point of view, the classic liberal was basically somebody who was more of a live and let live, but have government be more of a safety net and not just a hand up, but they liked the handout program because it suited their thinking. It kind of appeased their let's, make peace with all society and be, this sort of big brother. We kind of grew into that tolerance. But now they've just taken it so far that they just want total government control, which obviously is wrong too.
Well, it is. What they really want is control of the people.
Right.
This has been their agenda
Totally.
for a long time.
Yes.
And that's one of the other issues that I wanted to bring up. And how this country, how this country is where we are today.
Mhm.
And that is that these radicals that are very disingenuous on the left.
Completely and totally.
Let's go to how the political arena works, because as I said before, poker and politics I'm finding a lot of similarities to.
Mhm.
The one problem with politics as well is not just the people.
There's really no rules. There's no rule book.
There's no rule book. Exactly. This is a wide open game you got to figure out here. And
And oh, by the way, you've got to navigate between constitutionalists, people who think they're constitutionalist, and then the foreign national contingency, which is essentially their whole goal is to take us over.
well, that's it. And that's why we the people. And
Yes.
we're going to go through these issues of how we're not going to let that happen. We are a constitutional republic.
Yes, we are.
These people, unfortunately, want to turn this country into a third world country and a
Mhm.
banana republic and destroy the people.
Mhm.
And that's why we have to wake these people up. Because if we don't, we are going to wake up one morning. We are sort of seeing it right now. The government control of the people, the quarantine. This is sort of almost like
You
a
know,
first
you
step,
know what's
by the
so
way.
amazing to me about the word quarantine? When have you ever heard the word quarantine? Like in our lifetime, I've almost never heard the word quarantine. Which, by the way, quarantine is the house arrest of sick people, and they have turned it into the house arrest of all people, which makes it tyranny, not
Oh,
quarantine.
this
But
is
but
so
look
right on. You're talking about
look
it.
at
It's
the
common sense.
yeah, but look at the advancement of Q. and Q as our red pill into our psyche to start driving home these points you're talking about in, taking back our constitutional republic. It's almost like they even tried to hijack Q, but then make quarantine at the front of our minds instead of Q, because now Q has over 100 million followers.
Well, we need to start somewhere,
Yeah.
Denise. I mean, you know, God help us. And I
Yes.
mean, and I mean that sincerely, folks, because our country is under attack. And we have to look at it. We can't just say, oh, the sky is falling, Armageddon, which a lot of the left people like to think of.
Mhm.
I want to believe in positiveness. We need to be positive. We need to be focused. These are so important to what we're going to need to save this country. And I'll tell you what, folks, get ready. We are going to have to save this country.
Mhm.
We do not want to wake up. I promise you, we don't want to wake up when it's too late and say, oh my God, we should have done it this way.
But Trump's not going to let that happen.
I get that. By the way,
But he can't be president for forever.
right, but as it took Obama, Barack Hussein Obama, by the way,
Right. A Muslim
eight
Brotherhood
years,
fan.
8 years to give us political correctness, which was the first attack of our First Amendment. The first domino effect will go the First Amendment. It's number one.
Mhm.
You tear that down, you tear the rest of the Constitution
Totally.
down, and now America will be a different country. And I'll tell you what, I'm not going to make very many promises to you folks, but if this happens, you
Yes.
will not like it. None of us will like it.
There's
And
no
we will have
freedom.
plenty of regrets. We don't need that. We
Mhm.
do not need that. And we can solve this. We can work these issues out with
Common
common
sense.
sense. Common Sense
Well,
USA and we the people.
yeah, so, sanctuary policy is one of those things that never made sense to me as a citizen and as a tax-paying American, but yet it is so critical to the radical agenda. What should we do federally for mayors, police force, governors who keep insisting this sanctuary policy is their right?
Well, Denise, that was a really good question. I was actually going to bring that out. And this might seem a little stern, but, you know, back in 2016, towards the end of the election of Trump and Clinton, or I call them Bonnie and Clyde Clinton, um, I was very concerned at that Hillary just might win. So I had called the Trump headquarters in New York and I spoke to them with some ideas that I had, common sense ideas. They were so impressed they gave me the private voicemail of Donald Trump, and I would call up there and leave him suggestions.
Oh.
And they said that they would read them each night and
Mhm.
somebody would listen. Well, it was very shortly after that that all of the suggestions that I told them, they started doing. And he was resonating more with the people and connecting with the people. And maybe it was coincidence that, they're
I
very
think
smart.
so.
They might have done that,
Well,
but maybe they were listening. And
so I'll add to that. And there is a whole conspiracy theory side, yet there's a whole factual side supporting that John F. Kennedy Jr. is Q and that he is behind the whole Q plan. Now, whether that's true or not will remains to be seen. However, we absolutely know that Trump grew up in a military high school and he graduated at the top of his class as a strategist. And he was literally made for this because then he went on to the college, our Wharton School of
yes,
Economics,
yes.
and graduated again, top of his class.
By the way, that's quite an impressive school, folks. I know the
Yeah.
left likes to make it look like it's not, but it is.
It's totally impressive. And he's kind of he's sort of like come up to this role of being the president of the United States at this time. Like it all came together at the perfect time. For the perfect storm, the plan, the wall. And when we look at all these things together, I think what we're finding is exactly what you said is that we are at this critical juncture. And if we don't take back our country now, we never can. I completely believe you. but also
Well, I
that,
didn't say, Denise, we never can. It's
well,
just going to be a
no,
long,
it'll be,
tough road, and it.
totally gone. It will be totally gone. You look at their agenda, they want all government control of everything. And their radical agenda is still underway. I mean, Trump's got a list of 30 things he's got to do. He's only been able to check about 15 boxes. But the good news is he's still in charge, right? But yeah, this agenda of his has been in the making a long time. And when you go back and see his interactions with Ross Perot and other things, I do believe that he has had this, I'll call it a third, like for almost 30 years, this plan in place of how he would go about restoring the gold standard, of how he would go about taking back the country, and when he would do it, because he knew that certain things would come up in our, country's agenda, our dateline, our timeline, and he's taking advantage of it. And when you look at the Q proofs based on 2017, 2018, and now we're in 2020, they're exactly on target. So we are definitely operating according to a plan.
Oh yes, and Denise, and I do want to get back to one thing that you had mentioned just prior to this part of the conversation, because I've been thinking about it, and last 4 days since we first talked, I've been thinking a lot, and you had said something about the governors and mayors of these sanctuary cities and what we should do about it. And actually, this is something I was hoping to relate to Trump. If we are going to solve this problem, yes, these are elected officials. How they got there, and I'm going to explain how it happens, by the way, in this conversation. No, I'm serious.
Besides
Because,
voter fraud?
well, voter fraud's one thing, but we're going to get into the psychology of how these these congressmen, senators, they get elected, how it works. We're going to go to the program. We are going to expose Washington. We're going to expose these politicians. And I know how to do that because, well, I might not be intellectually the smartest guy, but I have an A plus in common sense and I can figure it out. Okay?
I love it.
Because I like to take a look at things that people say. And I want them to be sound good. But also I want to take a look at the other things they could be doing. The more nefarious things that they could be doing. Because when there's smoke, there is fire.
No
Or there
doubt.
had been fire. So we need to figure out their puzzle, their code. But what I would tell our goats, President Trump, and when I say goat,
I love the word goat, so
well,
it's greatest of all
that's right.
time.
G is greatest, O of A all T time. And I will get into this with some other things as I go along in my campaign, which I want to have fun with everybody.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be honest with everybody. And this is honest. What I don't understand what we're not doing. These governors like this Newsom in California, this governor in Virginia, Ralph Northam, I think
Right.
he is, which this guy was a doctor. Oh my God. You talk about a hypocritical oath that this man took to preserve life.
Do no harm, and he's doing
And-
all harm
And
instead.
now he's with this fanticide where if a baby is born through a failed abortion and is alive and breathing, to let
they
them
cannot
go,
care.
put them to the side and suffocate to death. Well, that's not going to happen, America. Our children have a voice, and we are the ones that have to give it to them.
Yes.
I am going,
Defend
sometimes
all life.
I have to take a deep breath on some issues because they really do hit my heart heavily, but I will use control. But what I would say that Donald Trump should do is send the federal government to California, Virginia, these governors, the mayor of San Francisco, the district attorney of San Francisco, that are allowing all these illegals to come in. And we're going to
Yes.
get into that too. And I say that they should bring the feds, go right to the governor's mansion and put them under arrest. Arrest for crimes against the people, crimes against our country,
Totally.
These are serious.
But
Why
let's
aren't
look at
these things
something.
happening?
Let
Oh, Denise, one other thing.
Yeah, go
Why
ahead.
are we the people, especially the liberals who love to protest, why aren't you at the steps of Governor Newsom's and these other governors and literally tell them, you must leave now? We, the people, just like they did in Puerto Rico with that governor. Remember, he didn't want to go. These guys need to go. They are the enemy of the people.
I totally agree.
Enemy of the people, folks. I'm telling you, look at them. Just like CNN is
Hmm.
the enemy of the people. Even look what just happened with Elon Musk. Has people been reading all this story about how the governor of California and they said, well, we, the hospitals, haven't received any of your ventilators and all these things and so on and so forth. Well, obviously, he had. Then they show the people thanking him for the
Hmm.
ventilators they sent, and
Right.
CNN reports it. And you know what Elon Musk said? He says, I don't know how come you guys are still in business. And you know what? We can put them out of business, America.
Hmm.
These are some things we need to discuss that no business is above the law. And by the way, none of these Congress people should be above the law because,
Well, here comes Trump, okay? So let me just
okay,
assuage your discontent
I love what you're
only
doing, Denise. Thank
slightly.
you.
So on April 13th, on Monday morning, the U.S. Attorney General Nick Trunch, who is our Attorney General here located down in Clark County in Nevada, appointed by Trump, he has been, of course, swimming silently alongside these people for over 5 years. So on Monday, they announced on the DOJ website that they were undertaking a 15 agency investigation into all aspects of the COVID 19 scam. And it includes the Secret Service, the FBI, the Nevada Attorney General, Ford, Aaron Ford, and many other agencies. And I was just literally giddy when I read this news release. It's a one-page news release, but then I wrote an article on it because my God, I had been collecting information for over a month, and our hope was that something like this would happen. And I had written to, I'll call it several elected officials, and then 2 weeks later, this shows up. So I submitted all my evidence, but anybody listening out there in KKVV land, you can submit citizen based evidence to this investigation. Just go on my website, don'tcaliforniaornevada.com, look at the blog, and you can click on it right there, and there is a form. You can fill it out, you can call in. There's all kinds of ways. So exactly what you're saying. This supports exactly what you want to do, and you are so on the mark, and you're right on target. It's just perfect what you're saying because Trump is all over this, and they realize the depth of the issue. But what I love is that they have allowed us citizens an opportunity to submit our evidence.
Well, you know,
So it's happening.
it,
What you're saying needs to happen is literally it started this week.
well, and I applaud the president as I do in so many ways. And
Oh, I
you
mean
know,
there's no end to it.
when I look at what this president has done for this country,
Hmm.
he is absolutely our savior. And
He's saving
I
us and he's saving the children. Over 33,000 children out of the tunnels.
and well, he's saving us on in a lot more areas too. It's
Yes.
sort of amazing when I look at what he is doing,
Hmm.
and you know, I believe that this is God's way. I mean, I know this sounds to a lot of other people, from the people that like us that believe,
Hmm.
and what the mainstream liberal media we call fake news, and they are fake news, ladies and
Totally
gentlemen.
fake.
This we have to have. What Trump needs to do also is have the FCC involved in this because of communications. They've gone way over the board now. I mean, they have become the enemy of the people, the
Yes, they have.
propaganda,
And they
the
never investigate a
lies,
thing.
and no, they don't. They just lie or. Some things, obviously, I'm sure they tell the truth a little bit with, but
Oh, they
not
twist it.
in well, that too. But most of the times, they are not being honest with the people. And some of the people now that are their viewers are starting to leave them. And what we really do need is to all the people to leave them being and the FCC should step in as well. And
But they leave them, and where do they go? Then they try to look at alternate news sites, Truth Hawk news sites, independent
well, that's okay.
news sites, but then you've got censorship. it's so hard to get to the truth. And if there's 300 million people in the country, we end up with at least 150 million truths because that's the goal of it all,
Well,
right?
of course, and that's
So,
why now that's again common sense.
mhm.
Common sense. We can get through any issue that that we attack. Now, some issues will be where whatever comes out of it, there's not a really great solution, but common sense will give us the best solution of a bad solution. But
Mhm.
whatever it is, we can work out any problem. And this is really where we need to concentrate. And
Defense spending has been under such attack by the liberals. Do you think that they've spent enough for defense? How do you like the idea of the cyber command?
oh well,
So now we've got like another branch of the
yeah, I
military.
actually like that. I'm excited about that.
Me
Actually,
too. Space Force. Yes,
there again,
the rocket
Trump
ship.
again. I mean, he promised us
Mhm.
before he was elected, and when he spoke to a lot of groups of people, what do you have to lose, folks? Well, that worked, and you know what he's doing? He is fighting for America. He is winning for America under an attack that I have never seen from any public official
I'd love
before.
to put another arrow in his quiver. Tell me what you
And
think about
shame on
this.
you, CNN, MSNBC, and the rest of this liberal network that are the enemy of the
But
people. Trust me.
kudos to OAN. And by the way, Trump had announced a year ago through a interview with was it Bill? I can't think of his name
What
now.
network?
So, well, anyway, he had announced that he was going to start up another network. Now, this is not a new idea because in 1990, in the Clinton era, to complete their indoctrination of the United States of America and all the listening public, what did Clinton do? With the CIA, he launched CNN. Okay, that's the Clinton News Network. And what did they do? They were the biggest propaganda brainwash machine to ever hit the planet. It came on originally as kind of a cable news network and grew and grew. But so Trump's just done the same thing, but now he has OAN, Free Enterprise Network. But man, are they doing a great job?
Well, then hopefully now that these are what people will go to now and they will get
Yes.
rid of these CNNs for good because,
Mhm.
we have some problems in America to fix.
Mhm.
And when you have a group who have become the enemy of the people, and I would love to explain how it all works. We have people, and there's basically three levels here. We have the level where Denise is in, for an example. She is a freedom fighter. We spoke for the last maybe 4 days ago, and we've had a couple conversations on the phone, and I'll tell you, they have absolutely been wonderful. And when I say she's a fighter, she's fighting for our Constitution. These are the people in politics that are trying to get the politicians to do the right thing. Now, what they're up against is these politicians are controlled by what I call the elitist. These are the people with all the power, all the money, all the influence, and they get these people elected. And then these people
They're just
work
talking
really for
heads for
them.
them.
They
Yeah.
don't work for us, the people. And we're going to get into these things, but since we don't have the time,
So
we will
so
do
let's
this at a
talk
late
about it.
at a
Let's
later
talk about a
time.
tool that Congress can put into play that would give Trump an extra, I'll call it another arrow in his quiver, the line item veto. I love the line item veto because so many bills that have come through Congress are they've loaded on the pork spending and they take a good idea, tell us what it is, like, oh, the Patriot Act, the CARES Act. They sound so great when they first tell
Right,
us.
but that's ways of taking away more of our rights. That's what
Right.
they're doing.
Yes, exactly. I mean, do you think Nancy Pelosi was just hanging out in her office and then the second that it came up that we were going to have this COVID virus, she pulls out a 1,400-page bill out of her top drawer of her desk? Did she just do that overnight? No, they've been planning this for so long. But if we gave Trump a line item veto, can you imagine the power in that for the people
Well,
in the
yeah,
right hands?
yeah, that's exactly what I was
That's
going to
the
say.
problem.
They're these are things that we have to think about because
Mhm.
don't forget, we can only have our president for another 4+ years,
Yes.
but after that, there'll be other presidents to come afterwards. So
Mhm.
once we start going in that direction, we have to really think about it because other presidents will have that power as well. And next, a liberal president or Democrat president we get in, if he's like Barack Hussein Obama, again, we will not make it through it next time.
However, here's another concept to think about: a single subject bill.
Okay, well that would make
that
more sense.
that
These are
would
things that we need to
strengthen.
look at, right?
Yeah,
I
that would
mean,
really strengthen, because that's the other thing, is these bills become like chuck wagons for special interest, and here we are, we're the little oxen pulling this 55 cart train, with our tax dollars, and it's so unfair.
well, it is unfair, and unfortunately, there's a lot of things unfair, and folks, whatever happens in this campaign of mine, and we'll get into some of these things. I need to get to the general elections because when I can do that, I will be relevant. I can reach out. I am truly running for you. I am running for us. I am running for we the people. I have no other motive. I'm at a stage in my life now that I'm not going to be a lifelong politician. I plan on serving Nevada in the House where we build the bills for one term. And I
Hmm.
will do such a phenomenal job. I promise you. I'm not going to make many promises. We'll get into that too. But after I do such a wonderful job for Nevada in those 2 years and get business done for Nevada, I know in 2022 I will be able to run for the U.S. Senate and win that seat and pass those bills that we put out in the House. And
Hmm.
America, I promise you, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, I will not be corrupted like these other politicians. You will know. But I will also be the eyes and the ears for the American people. I will watch what they're doing and I will report back to the people. I work for you. I work for you. I do not work for them. And my poker skills, I will take to Washington with me and I will work them for the American people. And I will beat Washington with myself and Donald J. Trump. We will make a huge, huge difference in these next 4 years, and we will make serious changes to bring our country back for the people. Your voices, us, don't let this opportunity we have, let's take advantage of it. That means that we need to call our friends, we need to email everybody we know, and we got to get the message out. We will win. We must win.
We must win for sure. In your common sense, going along with your common sense campaign, I love the whole movement of bring it home. Bring home our manufacturing, bring home our pharmaceuticals for national security, bring home food supply and food safety, bring home manufacturing
You know, all the
jobs.
things that will strengthen our country, of
Yes,
course. Okay, I get that. I
I
love those ideas.
the bring it home theme of that we're living in right now was literally catapulted to the top of the list by COVID-19. So for God, I thank him for that. But now we have kind of been caught with our pants down on our manufacturing. The the bigger story is a local story. A brewery got shut down, so they turned their bottling and distillery into bottling hand sanitizer, which I thought was such a great story. But how would you help manufacturing? Because this is a big ramp up. As a House bill consideration, what would you do to help manufacturing come back to America?
Well, to bring manufacturing back to America, which is obviously very important because we need to be making more things in America and keeping our jobs over here.
Hmm.
These are things that, I believe our president is moving us in the right direction already in bringing back jobs. I remember, what was it? Again, Barack Hussein Obama that said, "What are you
Hmm.
going to bring jobs back with a magic wand?" Do we remember that? Well,
Hmm.
our president has brought back jobs.
He's got
And
a wand. It's pretty damn big.
yes, well, okay, Denise. Uh, well, Oh,
Well,
okay.
here's another tool we can put in his toolbox. Congress can pass e-verify for everything. Not only will that help Americans retain those jobs, but it will bring jobs back. What do you think about e-verify?
Well, I think E-Verify will work for
Mm-hmm.
sure, and it's something that we need to look at. And we'll have to, as I said, we need to look at all possibilities, and then E-Verify. If that's the best one, that's the one we take. And so far, that seems like it would be the best.
Do you love
And we,
do you love his I'll call it close the open borders policy?
well, all I can say is President Trump, build that wall.
I was looking into this a couple years ago, and just a little bit about me, and I didn't tell you this. I was one of the original Anons 5 years ago. I was so afraid to talk about what I knew that I did it as an Anon, and I had a massive WordPress following called Jane Public Project. So I did a lot of research at that time. And in fact, I saw the censorship coming down the road. So even in my resources, I printed out all the articles and included them on my resources because I was too afraid the links might disappear. And then I printed them all.
Well, see, you think ahead.
Well,
You're a thinker,
it,
and that's what we need more
yes,
people to be doing is thinking. And part of the game that we all play, and believe me,
yeah,
folks, life is also a game.
totally.
And it's like what Washington loves to do is they love to distract the people. Because the way this works is, first of all, so many people, we have so many things to worry about our jobs, our
Mm-hmm.
kids, our families,
Just our own health.
right, our health.
Mm-hmm.
We have so many issues that we can't just follow everything. There's not enough time in the day.
There isn't.
So,
You've got to latch on to something that's
right,
the most important to you.
exactly. And when we're worried about all these other issues, we're not going to be worried about what Washington's doing
Mm-hmm.
and the nefarious things they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the way they keep us sidetracked. But this is the time we are going to be more engaged. It's a presidential election year, so more people will be following this. And as I have been seeing from talking to many people, by the way, and I gives me a lot of hope when I'm reaching out to a lot of liberal Democrats who are now really starting to see what's happening. These are the more moderate Democrats. These are
The
the ones that
classic
can,
liberals.
right.
Mm-hmm.
These are the
Yeah.
ones that we want to bring back to our
Mm-hmm.
society, let me tell
Do
you.
you really think that
And
there's
they're
been
starting to get it,
like an
folks.
authentic liberal since JFK? I mean, I see that as kind of the turning point, and that it really started going downhill for their side.
Oh, yes. It's,
Now, that being said, in 1990, Connecticut congressman had come up with, at that time, there was maybe four classifications of immigration visas or visas in general. And then he invented the H-1B, or is it, yeah, H-1B, H-2B, which is skilled worker, non-skilled worker. But at that time, he said, we only should have 60,000 of these visas. They should be like gold. And we should only give them to specialty surgeons, specialty scientists that can come in and build up America and help us rise. And then now we have over 3 million of those visas every year, plus the overstays, plus all of the other fraud that's gone around. Now there's over 35 types of visas.
well, it's like, as you said, the Democrats now are not the John F. Kennedy Democrats
No.
anymore. They are more become like the Barack Obama.
So I,
Uh,
I think that they took a lot of good ideas that America had and a lot of great policies that America used to operate on and hijacked them. They turned everything that was good to the bad.
well, exactly. And it's also something else that if we really look at one of the great speeches of John F. Kennedy's short, unfortunate presidency was, and well, I hope I'm going to say this right,
Hmm.
but did he not say, it's not what you can do for the your government. No, it's. I'm sorry. It's that speech here, and I'm drawing a blank, and I'm sorry about that, folks. But it
I know which one
say
you're going to
not
say.
what
Your
your
country
country can do for you,
but
but
what
what
you
you
can
can
do
do
for
for
your
your
country.
country.
I
And
remember
now
that.
we have our
Hmm.
Bernie Sanders
Who's
people that are
totally flipped it
saying,
around.
well, totally flipped it around now. Everything for free. It's
Yeah.
not now what you can do for your country, but what your country can do for you. And
Mhm.
that's sort of going right back down to the socialism ways. And
Mhm.
by the way, socialism is it's not
It's
the
the
way to go,
communism
folks.
you vote for.
Exactly. And
But communism you have to shoot your way out of.
that's what I think is so funny. They promise you free health care, promise you free college, promise you everything for free, but
You know what?
we find
What's
out nothing's for free.
You mentioned healthcare. I wanted to bring up. So Trump had said early on in 2018 that he had a $300 a month healthcare plan,
I just heard of this, yes.
and that it will have riders. So do you remember in the 70s? And this was before my time when I was paying for my own health care, but I remember Kaiser Permanente.
I, I
It,
belong to them, I know.
yeah, and my parents loved it. They're like, oh, I mean, I remember them talking about like, oh, for $100 a month, our whole family has health care. And then in 1973, Nixon changed everything and made our health care policies. Health care itself went from nonprofit to profit. So to, I guess, get back to certain premises that made our country great. One was good, affordable, high quality healthcare. Could we make some parts of it nonprofit? And particularly what I'm thinking of is organ donation.
Well,
That would be a congressional opportunity.
yes, it would be. And I'll tell you, Denise, I'm learning right now. I'm learning a lot of things. And I have to learn very quickly. So I will get up to speed on all of this.
But I love his $300 a month health
Well,
care
I do
plan.
too.
And I love the fact that it has riders. I mean, because myself as a divorced 40-year-old woman, I did not need the maternity benefit on my health care policy. So I was able at that time to remove it and save me $35 or $40 a month. I've paid my own health care for the last 30 years. So, it's something very dear to my heart, right? Because money is dear to my heart. I'm trying to keep as much of it in my pocket. But would you support President Trump in a base healthcare system of $300 a month
Oh,
plus riders?
of course, because
I think it's very
I do
affordable.
too. I would actually like to look at it, his
Mhm.
plan, and
Mhm.
before I make a total commitment.
Yes.
But I also have the sort of confidence in this man. He's a winner, and he
Totally.
and he's got
Mhm.
very smart people
Mhm.
with him, and so I would definitely want to take a serious look at it.
Mhm.
For me to say yes, it all sounds great. Yeah, $300 a month, that sounds great. We have to see how we're going to get there and exactly what it is, and I will look at those, and I will give them I would give a common sense opinion, and because they've got all the numbers, they've got the data.
Right.
I haven't seen it yet, so I really don't want to make.
Well,
Um,
speaking of data, so Surgeon General Jerome Adams uh, obliterated the phantom predictive model of the COVID 19 crisis 2.5 days ago now. And he did it on an XM radio station, which I love, right? Because that's
okay,
mainstream media. And
unfiltered.
right. And then the next day, Trump announced that he was coming out with his state rollout plan. And that was hilarious because the governors had all decided that they were going to do their own plan. So that was about 5 days ago. Then they came on and gave us the communist version of let's slowly roll you back out to capitalism if we feel like it, and oh, by all these hoops we want you to jump through. And within 15 minutes of them ending their conferences, Trump just got on and he said, I'm in charge here. I will be telling you how we're going to do it. And I mean, within hours, 27 states folded, and then two more added themselves to his list to do the rollout very quickly. And by this Saturday, a large amount of states are going to have most of their businesses open.
Well,
Because we can figure it out, right?
yes, and he's been there all the way.
I
And
know.
it just shows the people. And
Hmm.
Denise, I'm going to go again. We need this man. I don't know why he's doing this. He if When I think of what they've done and how they've attacked him and all of this,
Well, he
there's
has
not
such
many
a
men in this country or
no.
anywhere that would be able to do what this man is, and he just keeps on fighting for us, and that shows me his passion. That shows
Hmm.
me his love. That shows me how he cares about the people,
Yes.
and he's bringing us home. And we can't let him down.
We
We
can't let
must
him
fight for
down.
him as he's fighting for us,
Totally.
and he'll win. I'm fully confident of it that we the people will get it right again, and those next 4 years, it'll be fun to watch how we improve and how
Well,
great we
if we can
become
get some real
again.
warriors and patriots like yourself in Congress who are going to be a voice for him, a pure voice for
Oh
him,
yes, definitely,
maybe
100%.
maybe we can give him some more ammunition. You know, another big leak that I see that is sort of this steady stream in a dike is our agriculture, mining, and manufacturing in regards to now it is getting torn down, the EPA. We do need some laws and regulations, no doubt,
Oh, for sure.
but we don't need 5,000. We might need 50, right? But
That makes sense.
he's got all kinds of, you know,
It
great programs
less
in place.
complicated that
Right.
way.
Yeah, just make it less complicated. But the mining, manufacturing, agriculture, what in some of those areas, what are your ideas for improving? And I'll give you an example. Here in Mountain Pass, California, just over the border from Nevada, was our only rare earth mineral mining manufacturing facility. Rare earth mineral is a very high cost specialty area of mining. But the rare earths are so necessary for space, transportation, electronics, all the things that we want to do. But we've been giving these rare earth minerals to China. And how? They came in and bought this Molycorp plant 6 years ago in a bankruptcy sale for not even a nickel on the dollar. Then they took the ability to have a rail line to this facility. Then instead of reorganizing and reopening the facility, they kept the license so that they could handle the rare earth minerals, put them in containers, and sent them back to China. And because America had no place to manufacture rare earth minerals, we had to go along with it because there was nowhere else, we had no other market for them. And so China now has all our rare earth mineral in ore, concentrated ore. They've taken it back. So now they have what we had as a mined available material commodity is now in China's hands. So
Like so many other of our ours are in China's hands, and
so
it,
so you know we've got this big war and all these different fronts with China. It particularly for mining, it's so critical. I mean, when I first learned about mining, and basically everything we touch every day at some point comes from mining. And it's so critical to America. What would you do as a congressperson to help reinvigorate our mining capability?
well, Denise, you hit my Achilles heel, and that's okay because
Well,
I'll tell you something, and because I want to be honest to everybody, I don't, I
well, these
I am
subjects are
not
hard because, see, I wouldn't have known about it if I had not been in the mining industry.
right, but you'd also because you are so versed in so many things that
And,
Denise, and I get that. For the last 32 years, I've been behind a poker table. I'm dealing
yes.
with something different.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you bring these issues to me, I have to look at them. And
Mm-hmm.
when you do, and see what our alternatives are, I'm a
A problem solver.
problem solver.
Yeah.
I'm going to solve problems with common sense.
Yeah.
So
So,
am I up to speed on all the issues? No, but I will get up to speed with the right people explaining it to me, and we will come up with
well,
the right answers. But I don't want to.
well, I
I
think
don't want to talk about things that I am not
sure. But
really
so
sure of
let me just
because
make a
that wouldn't be
suggestion.
good.
You would be in great company if you would then join the Western Congressional Caucus. Okay, so they've got all the experts. They deal in all these kinds of things. So that's kind of what I was getting to with my whole mining, manufacturing, agriculture comment was we've got this Western Congressional Congress. It's head by Paul Gosar. He's amazing. He's out of Arizona. And, if you would consider joining them, they would be your brothers in arms over all these kinds of things. So we're not looking to you necessarily for our vote to be cast because of all of your expertise. But instead, we're looking to you to solve these problems with the people who have the right solutions and expertise.
And that's exactly what I'm going to do, because these are the smart people that
Mm-hmm.
will be able to let me know. And
Yes.
when I know what a problem is, and these are the things that we can do
Mm-hmm.
to fix these problems or better
Mm-hmm.
these problems, I will figure that out, because that's a lot of common sense. But if I get into issues right now that are, I know it's important. You know, they're very important issues,
But
and I will address them. And I will look into anything that the people want me to do,
yes.
because if you elect me, then I am the one that works for you, and I will learn these issues and will use common sense, and I will fix these problems. That's what I'm here to do, is fix problems, bring common sense, give solutions, and
Mm-hmm.
support our president who is working for us, the
Yes.
people. So these are issues that are more of my Achilles heel. I want to attack my strengths, the things that I can do for the people. And knowing that as time has gone by so fast, Denise, I haven't realized that
Oh yeah, we're almost to
that
our
that
hour,
that
huh?
actually we are almost to our hour.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is I would like to spend my last few minutes
Mm-hmm.
speaking to the folks, our viewers here, our listeners, and hopefully we'll get this out to the rest of the people, and why I am here and why I'm running for Congress. One of the reasons why I'm running for Congress is for the people. I love my country. I love the people of my country. I have three beautiful daughters, Melody, Chanel, Sierra. They've given me two beautiful granddaughters, Natalia and Ellie. And I want to give them something. I want to give them a great country. And I will do whatever it takes for your children as well. This is where my heart and my passions are. The military, our armed forces, our brave men and women. I was around during Vietnam. I saw what
Oh.
happened to these people when they came home. They served their country. They keep us safe. They go to war to protect us. And we have got to protect these fine, great people. I want to develop programs for them. We have issues with them. We have a homeless issue with them. We have a suicide issue with them.
Mm-hmm.
We have got to solve these problems. And that's other issues that I'm going to solve. There's so many issues we're going to solve. I'm going to work for the people. I am going to be honest more than anything else. And this isn't what I've seen in politics. There's not many of them are honest. And so when I'm asked a question, I will be honest. If I don't answer that question, obviously there'll be a reason for it, but I will not lie to you about it. As I will tell you that I need your help. I need your guidance as well to do this. There's so many things I can do for us. So I am asking you to vote for Brian Nadell for Congress in the 3rd Congressional District, because I will work for you. We will fix these problems together. I promise you this is what I will do. It's important to me. It's important to you, because it's you, it's us, and it's we, the people. And we need to stick together, uniting the people. We can do this. What I'm seeing now, and I wasn't around in the 1860s, but this is exactly what had to be happening back then. We cannot fall back into this. We need to stand as the commoners, Republicans, Democrats, independents, libertarians, whatever your political affiliation is, even if you're apolitical. We need to march shoulder to shoulder. We are 300 plus million strong. The government is not quite there. There are probably maybe in my opinion, 1,000, less than 1,000 people that are controlling this country and the world. And this is where we need to find out. This is where we need to look into. And we will do this. I look at these politicians and look at it. We can solve that problem too. I mean, all they do is fight each other and tell you how bad they are, and we give back to the American people that we have to vote for one of these people. I know how we can get good politicians. I know how we can get honest politicians. us, we the people, we need to get involved. We need to be the ones running our country. And guess what? There's a lot of these new young people, the next generation of America, that are going to be our leaders. Let's get it right now. So, in a very short period of time, I like what Trump says when he says, God bless America. God bless the great people of this great country.
And I agree.
And God bless our GOAT, Donald J. Trump.
Vegas Views,
Thank
Denise
you,
Mraz,
folks.
Brian Nadell, and
I
we'll see
love
you
you.
soon.